Good morning, everybody. Just give us another 30 seconds while everyone joins from the waiting room. Cool. Well, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our town hall, meditation town hall, organized by the Dzogchen Center. Today we have the great joy and pleasure of having Julie Gillette leading our session. Lama had some business to attend to. So welcome, Julie. Thank you so much for taking time out for your family life on a Sunday. So thank you so much, everyone. I'm just going to text in some upcoming programs we have. Lama's running a gratitude prayer on March 3rd with a Facebook group, so that's only available to Facebook. I'll text that. Facebook users, I'll text that into the chat. We have our live virtual spring retreat, March 5th through 7th, so please consider diving a little deeper with us. We do call it the spring retreat, which in March is always more aspirational here in New England, but I hope you guys have a warm spring. We've got a lot of snow here, so I doubt it'll be springtime. And on Monday, March 15th, we have an Ask the Lama session, which is on a Monday night, 8 o'clock. And I put the links in the chat in a second. Master class on March 20th. And as usual, if you guys can donate and help us make this available to a wider audience, we will put it to good use. So thank you so much. And just wanted to say good morning to you, Julie, and hope you're doing well and everything. So thank you for leading us today.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone, on this, as Jeff mentioned, aspirational spring day. And I have to say, it's coming, even here in New England. The robins, I noticed, have started singing. And while robins don't, I learned more about this during this time, paying more attention to nature, even more than I have in the past over this year. But while robins don't migrate, they kind of follow food for a while. And then when they settle in the place that they're going to nest, the males kind of go before the females and the males start singing. So the robins out here now are starting their song, and it's way before spring, but they have that optimism. And that sense of spring is here, it's coming. It's a time that's sort of pregnant with spring. So even though it's still, there's plenty of snow on the ground outside in my yard, we know that spring's coming. So it's this time, every time is a good time for awakening when you notice it. But here we have the kind of spring awakening. It's just a lovely time. It's also the beginning of the Lunar New Year. For those who celebrate the Lunar New Year, we do at our house. We celebrate all the New Years that we can, really, and all the holidays that we can, especially, again, in this time where many of us have had the opportunity and the challenge of sort of, not all of us, many people are still having to go to work and to work harder than ever and to be out to provide for their families. Others of us have had the great privilege and complicated suffering of being at home. I've been in that category, that latter category, for a while. And the advantage, or one of the great, the beauty of this time, even in the midst of suffering, is that opportunity to kind of pay attention and to mark the days. And it's been important for us in our family. My husband and I have been working from home, almost a year now. I know many of you probably have too. And our children have been at home doing school remotely for almost a year. Tomorrow is actually the anniversary of the first death in the United States from COVID. So we're here in this time of a year. And a couple weeks from now is kind of when we started staying at home and having this unexpected retreat in the midst of this global pandemic. So paying attention to kind of what's going on is one of the themes I want to bring to us today, and how that relates to our Dzogchen practice, our non-dual awareness practice. So we'll start by doing a little practice. You'll notice I should stop and say I'm not Lama Surya Das, and his shoes are way too big to fill. He's like a size 15 or 13 or something. I'm like, if I'm lucky, I'm a 6. So I just want to invite everyone. This is the time that we all have to do that. We all have to bring a little bit more enlightened energy to this practice this morning. I'm not going to be able to fill his seat, but maybe all together we can fill his seat, which is, again, the invitation that he brings to us, and that the lineage brings to us, to kind of step up and take your seat in the lineage, take your seat as the holder, as the as one who's welcoming awakening to take a seat right where you are, welcoming enlightened energy, welcoming the power of all who have cultivated, welcomed, and lived in harmony and with enlightened energy at the center of all we do. So we're going to start this morning, as we always do, with our we do it many different ways, but it's always sort of the same. We start at the beginning by bringing our attention, taking refuge one way or another. There are a variety of different ways that we do this. This morning, we're going to go back to the 7-line supplication, the Padmasambhava on page 1. We'll start there. It's a way of welcoming enlightened energy, a way of bringing energies together on our own seat. So join me as you can, or simply rest in the energy of this prayer, this ancient Tibetan prayer. Then we'll do a little practice. We'll have a little chit chat, and there'll be an opportunity to ask questions. You can put questions in the chat. They'll go to Jeff. So at any point during this time, you can put a question in the chat, and we'll get to whatever we can by the end. So let's begin again. Let's start over. Let's start freshly. Gorjan Yulji Nub Jang Sam Pema Ge Sardong Bula Yam sanjagi no jumye pema jong ne jesu drag Gordu gandro mang vor Yeki jesu dag druki Jinji lab jir shag zuzo Guru bema zedi hom Om Ahung Benza Guru Bema Zedi Hum 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 Om Ahung Benza Guru Bema Zedi Hum. So as we welcome the enlightened ones, welcome the lineage, welcome enlightened energy, welcome that spark of Buddha-ness that exists in all of creation, in all beings, in all aspects of reality. We can find our rest there. Allow ourselves to rest, to settle. So you might, at this place, at this time, if you haven't already, take a comfortable seat, even more comfortable, allowing yourself to find a position that has some alertness and awakeness to it so that you don't doze, but a position that's comfortable. There's nothing to be gained here in looking at the screen and looking at me. Just allow your attention to turn now. To turn now to the physical body, the sensations of body. Allow the body to ground you. How? Bring awareness to the sensations of the body, the sensation of your bottom on a seat, supported by the earth, grounded, uplifted, steady. The natural body, as we say in Dzogchen, natural body left just as it is the Buddha body, Nirmanakaya, enlightened, awakened body, just as it is. Recognizing how awareness takes form in this body. Rest in that, let go in that. Allow yourself to find ease in this natural body, left just as it is. As you find this rest, this stability, this groundedness, body like a mountain, natural body, resting at ease. This acceptance of all that is body. And turn your attention to the breath energy. This flow of breath animating flow, energizing, natural rhythm. Bring awareness. Allow your attention to rest in this awareness of the flow of breath energy. This natural breath left just as it is, Sambhogakaya, the speech energy, the breath energy of Buddha, of awakening, left just as it is. Allow your awareness to ride this breath, to be this breath. Like the ocean's waves. This natural awareness, ever available, ever present. More you than you, more me than me. With these two as an anchor, the groundedness of body, the natural flow of breath energy. With these two as an anchor, the mind naturally follows, rests, opens. Natural mind. Open, perceptive, left just as it is the mind of Buddha, the heart mind of awakening, just as it is. Mind like the sky, open, luminous, all perceptions open, relaxed, at ease. Dharmakaya, awakened heart mind, right here, right now, on this seat. Always present. It's just we who are absent. Just allowing, opening, relaxing, releasing. Just as you're able, remain open to all that arises in the body-mind continuum, all thoughts, all feelings, perceptions, impulses, all continue to arise. Just let them come and go. Just don't get stuck. Allow all to naturally arise, naturally fade away. Just allow awareness to rest in itself, as itself. Just letting everything come and go as it will, as it does. And if you find yourself distracted, when you get stuck, when something sticks, a perception or a thought, a feeling, when you find yourself stuck in following it, in adding something to it, not just letting it go, not just letting it come and go, just come back to the body and let go. Come back to the breath and let go again. Allow the mind once again to fall open, to encompass everything, distracted by nothing. And that is the moment of natural awareness. That moment when you say, where am I? Where did I go? And you come back to what's already there and rest there. Rest in what's already there. Always already. Begin again with this freshness, fresh awareness of this moment, right now. Are you trying to make something happen? If so, just stop, let go, begin again. Rest, let go. always already here. No need for pushing anything away. No need for attaching to anything. Just letting all come and go in the flow of awareness. Awareness taking form as thought, impulse, perception. Awareness taking form now and now, now. Just rest there. So if you were trying to do something, you can stop now. See what that gets you. So I've been thinking about the Heart Sutra, and I want to do the Heart Sutra now, the chanting of the Heart Sutra. The Mahaprajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra, the Heart Sutra of Wisdom. It's in our Dzogchen Center prayer book on page 20, if you have it in front of you. And Jeff's also kindly going to put it up on the screen. So I think this may be, it's one of the very few sutras in our Dzogchen Center prayer book. It's a Mahayana Sutra, the early period of the development of the Mahayana in India. So it's, I think the oldest text that we actually have of this sutra goes back the 600s probably. It's probably the 600s, maybe the 500s. Maybe it's in print in the early 600s of the Common Era. And still practiced all over the Mahayana world, not only in the Buddhism of the Himalayas, Tibetan Buddhism, but also in the other Mahayana Buddhist countries. Japan, very important in the Zen schools in Japan, China, Vietnam, Korea, those other East Asian Zen strongholds. So I'm just going to chant this. You'll chant along with me, though I unfortunately won't get to hear you, but we'll all be chanting the resounding of the Heart Sutra all over from all of our different corners. I don't really have a talker, so I'll just do it kind of without. Mahaprajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra, the Heart Sutra. Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva, practicing deep prajna paramita, clearly saw that all five skandhas are empty, transforming all suffering and distress. Shariputra, form is no other than emptiness, emptiness no other than form. Form is exactly emptiness, emptiness exactly form. Sensation, thought, impulse, consciousness are also like this. Shariputra, all things are marked by emptiness, not born, not destroyed, not stained, not pure, without gain, without loss. Therefore, in emptiness, there is no form, sensation, thought, impulse, consciousness. No eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind. No color, sound, smell, taste, touch, object of thought. No realm of sight to no realm of thought. No ignorance and also no ending of ignorance, to no old age and death, and also no ending of old age and death. No suffering and also no source of suffering, no cessation, no path. No wisdom and also no attainment. Having nothing to attain, bodhisattvas live prajna paramita with no hindrance in the mind. No hindrance, thus no fear. Far beyond elusive thinking, they attain complete nirvana. All Buddhas, past, present, and future, live prajna paramita, and thus attain peerless, perfect enlightenment. Therefore know that prajna paramita is the great mantra, the wisdom mantra, the unsurpassed mantra, the supreme mantra, which completely removes all suffering. This is truth, not deception. Therefore proclaim the prajna paramita mantra, proclaim the mantra that says, Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswa Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswa Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha 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 Gate Gate Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhiswaha. The mantra which says Om Gate, Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhiswa. Beyond, beyond, beyond the beyond, beyond even that, awakening. Imaho, hallelujah, awakening. So this morning I was inspired to practice with you today, the Heart Sutra, the Mahaprajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra, the sutra of the great heart of wisdom sutra. And this is the most essentialized version, really. Because this sutra has a way, it's going back to the early Mahayana, but it really holds together this tension that we have in Dzogchen and the natural great perfection. This thread is going back to, some of the earliest, not the earliest, but the earliest of the Mahayana Buddhism. There's this holding together in the Heart Sutra of the ultimate and conventional, of the ultimate and relative. This piece of all 5 skandhas are empty, meaning all of the components of the person, of an individual, are empty. Not that they don't exist, but they're open. They're not independent. It's going back to core Buddhist philosophy, but also questioning and working the mind around all of this. If you go line by line through the Heart Sutra, it's saying not just that the individual is empty, all the 5 skandhas, sensation, thought, impulse, and consciousness, but also that birth, all of the aspects of Buddhist truth, of what we call Buddhist truth, are empty. There's no form, sensation, thought, impulse in emptiness. No aspects of the body, no aspects of perception. Not that they don't exist, but that they don't exist in the way that we're generally going through life. So it's keeps this piece of, well, it's very different. The Heart Sutra is not a creed. I grew up in Sunday school kind of saying a creed, and it was like, this is what we believe. We believe these aspects of being. The Heart Sutra is not about believing something. It's about actually reminding yourself of experience and checking out each aspect of this and holding together this piece of the ultimate nature of things, of how things are in a real mystical sense. Dzogchen is a mystical tradition. It's a tradition of awakening, of knowing reality as it is, without subject and object, without beyond the kind of cognitive experience or beyond regular experience. But it's also completely about what relative is. Emptiness takes shape as form. Awareness takes shape as form. There's not an awareness which is kind of exactly outside of what's manifesting as awareness. And that's sort of, I would say, the good news of Dzogchen. The kind of good news is that it's right here, right now, that there's not something to work to or attain, that that's the sort of nut that we get to crack and to work on in Dzogchen. It's something that has been especially potent for me, I have to say, in this past year, when conventional reality sort of knocked around a little bit. You start saying, like, okay, how does this all fit together? And how is it that this experience is it? Not just making karma, not just making karma into dharma, but recognizing dharma in this, recognizing awakeness in every experience of life. And I think there's something about this that has been especially important for me over this past year, because sometimes I can get sort of, there can be an ennui or a boredom or settling into this time, or like a way that I have to search out a sharpness at times. But this holding together of the sort of conventional truth of where we live and how things work, along with the ultimate truth of how things actually are, that holding together has this tension that's sort of shown in the Heart Sutra, that is a vibratory kind of tension, and it's energizing, it's magnetizing, kind of holding all of this together. And these, I want to talk about it more sometime, but maybe on retreat, but this is kind of how the relative and ultimate practices fit together too. So on one hand, in Dzogchen practice, we let go, as we said, into what is already there. Let go into what's already there and rest in that. And on the other hand, in our relative practices and our supportive practices, such as practices of chanting the mantras and the sutra, such as the practices of arriving and settling, the practices and other practices like love and the Vajrayana practices. Those are the ways that we kind of refine and enlarge in our perspective, kind of bring these two things together. We have letting go into what's already there, this kind of greatest perspective, and also this work of refining our perspective, so that it becomes, so that the all-inclusive ultimate perspective is uninhibited. The mind can't relax as long as there are a lot of hindrances. And truly, there is actually nothing that can inhibit natural awareness. But we find in the workings of the mind that it can be obscured, temporarily obscured by the complications of our mind, by the kleshas, by the difficult emotions and obscuring influences. That our mind, our perspective can become very closed, or the troubled mind has difficulty relaxing in what's already there. So that's how we work to kind of bring these things together. I think there's something about, also with our refining our perspectives and enlarging our perspectives to be able to welcome ultimate awareness. It goes back, one way of working with it goes back to what I talked about at the beginning of this session, was that piece of marking days and moments, that piece of recognizing the natural year, recognizing the liturgical year. In Christianity and Judaism, it's a piece of the liturgical year of like paying attention to how the flow of the year goes, and in the natural world, paying attention to kind of the flow of the natural year. And somehow in bringing greater attention to the particular and making our attention larger, encompassing more of what is, becoming more aware of who we are and what we are, it allows awakening to manifest in these things. I mean, it always does, but it allows us to recognize how awakening is manifesting over the course of the year, and how awakening is manifesting in, you know, the love we have for our dogs, and that great love is manifesting in these particular ways. And that's just an example, because love for dogs is super easy to see. It's kind of uncomplicated most of the time. So I just wanted to share those thoughts with you this morning, and hope it can be a little helpful. I hope that you'll go back to the Heart Sutra. I wanted, you know, if I had a little bit more time, I would share a bit. Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Zen master, has done a new translation. I don't know how new it is, but certainly more new than 600 CE. He's done a translation which, if you put the different translations beside each other, you can start to see even more how there's nothing, even though every part of this says not born, not destroyed, no ears, that there's still no negation. It's actually just saying, don't stop there. Keep going, keep searching, keep looking deeper into these lines. Look deeper into your lives, look deeper into every aspect of karma, of relative existence. Look deeper into each piece of conventional reality. It's all available. Awakening is not somewhere else. And that's sort of the good news. Awakening is not on some other seat, and it's not at the front of the room, and it's not in Tibet, and it's not in a cave, and it's not somewhere else. It's right here. So being able to come back, it's that turning back towards one's own life to see, where is it here? So that's, you know, could be a guiding question for a time. Where is it? Where's awakening now? Where's love and wisdom in this moment? And you'll always find it. It's always right there. Like if you just can open up enough and see, have a bigger perspective, it's always right there. So that's kind of our good news of this morning. So I kind of droned on and on. It is 11:55. We have a couple minutes if people have questions. Otherwise, we can dedicate the merit of our time together, the power of our time together, and we can move on with our beautiful days.
Thank you so much, Jill.
Pleasure.
See if we have any questions. If we are negating things with the Heart Sutra, in the end, are we affirming anything? Or are we just endlessly negating?
Yeah, well, the Heart Sutra is kind of, you know, we're not ending with just the Heart Sutra, but the Heart Sutra really is about negating. It's, you know, it's really about, I mean, it's really coming out of Mahayana philosophy and Madhyamaka philosophy of Nagarjuna, and which doesn't assert things. It's an entire philosophy of, yeah, I almost don't want to say negating. I just want to say like questioning. Let's just say there. And it doesn't start putting forth answers. It just kind of says, you know, I mean, I do this with everything, I think, but I almost want to say, what if there is no body? What if there is no mind? What if there is, you know, and it's allowing then the mind, the kind of enlightened aspect of mind to find something. You know, it is a practice. It's
Right.
It's not a creed, really.
Right.
It's not about saying, you know, we believe this. It's more describing an experience and an entryway into an experience, I think. So it's really fun in that sense, you know, and we know that it's not negating, because that would be nihilism. And, you know, Buddhism is the middle way between eternalism, or things kind of exist permanently forever in a certain way, in an independent way, or things don't exist at all. So from the beginning, Buddha said quite clearly that his way was the middle way. So if we get stuck in, oh, that must mean that there's nothing, that nothing exists, then we know that we've gone astray, because that's nihilism. So then we can kind of come back, you know. It's more about no separate. You know, what is it if there's actually, if the experience of awakening or the experience of awareness is so intimate that there's no separation, there's no body separate from other bodies, that there's no mind separate from other minds, that there's no unchanging aspect of any part of awareness or any part of our experience. So that's the sort of invitation. No, it's a juicy one.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's fun.
Thank you so much.
So let's dedicate. We have a minute here. I'll just do the dedication prayer on page 25, Yoshua Ken's dedication prayer. We can do that super quick. I hope I see everyone again. I hope to see you at the spring retreat, March 5th to 7th. It's going to be fun. It's a perfect time. It's always the perfect time. The retreats are lovely. It's a wonderful opportunity to go deeper, start fresh, take your practice deeper, and, you know, bring your light to the world. So I hope I see you all there, and all the other wonderful learning opportunities that are available here. Okay. Through the merit of this, may the light of the Buddha's precious teaching remain for ages to come, the ground for every single kind of benefit and happiness. May all the supreme holders of the teachings who uphold its living truth accept to live for eons, and their lotus feet stand firm. And so may the sun of altruism and well-being, in all its blazing splendor, shine the brilliant light of the study and practice of Buddha Dharma throughout every corner of the universe. Thanks, everyone. Take good care, take best care of yourselves, take care of each other, do your good work. See you soon.
Thank you. Thank you, Julie. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day.